Sarin, a nerve agent that is one of the deadliest known to man. A small amount can kill hundreds, as it did last year in a rocket attack in the Syrian capital Damascus. Britain took a leading role in forcing the regime to destroy its stockpiles of chemical weapons and disclosed to inspectors which countries were guilty of providing the materials. But Newsnight has been passed a secret Foreign Office document which reveals that chemicals and components used by Syria came not from another rogue state, but from Britain. Most pointedly, the document reveals that Britain was the sole supplier of 3 important ingredients for the production of sarin. It said,
Syria's declarations to the OPCW name the UK as the sole supplier of dimethyl phosphate, trimethyl phosphate and hexamine, 3 chemicals which Syria used in the production of sarin.
The phosphate chemicals are regarded as the building blocks of sarin, and Newsnight understands Britain sold hundreds of metric tons of them to Damascus.
Sarin is what you would say as being at the pinnacle of chemical weapons. It is very toxic. It is a chemical that is quite versatile. The amount that is required to kill somebody is very, very tiny, and it can be dispersed very well. And that is why a relatively small quantity killed somewhere in the region of 1,000 people in Syria.
The document makes clear the chemicals were supplied in the mid-1980s, a time when there appears to have been no proper regulation of such sales. However, Britain must have been aware that something was amiss, because in 1985 and 1986 it rushed through new rules to stop certain chemicals being shipped to Syria because of fears they were being weaponized. But by then, it was too late. At the time, Syria had suffered successive military defeats to Israel and was determined, like Iraq its neighbour, to build up a stockpile of weapons of mass destruction.
I think at the time somebody should have been a bit more alert and saying, why are we supplying these chemicals to a region in the world where we know that there is interest in chemical weapons? You have the situation in Iraq, where Iraq was clearly using chemical weapons. I don't know exactly when these chemicals were exported to Syria, but somebody should have said, why are we doing this? These chemicals have other uses, but they can certainly be used in a chemical weapons program, and we shouldn't be selling them.
While ministers will point out the chemical sales were made a long time ago, the document also makes clear this is not just an embarrassment from the distant past. The document explains,
Syria's declarations also lists the UK as having supplied a number of electrical component parts, including fans. A licence for the export of fans was issued in 2003. It would seem these were diverted to the Syrian programme.
So, in the year Britain invaded Iraq to get rid of weapons of mass destruction that did not exist, it was also selling equipment that ended up being used in the manufacture of Syria's chemical arsenal. These disclosures highlight the perils of the arms trade, and how the sins of the past have a horrible habit of returning to haunt you in the future.